Good. Then I would start.
Yes,
And
go ahead.
then, yeah, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to today's discussion about sustainable impacts. It's a pleasure to do this session, and I call it a session because today we do not have a presentation. It is more about a discussion about sustainable and impacts and sustainable impacts. So my name is Florian Maurer, and I'm working as a researcher for the Vorarlberg University of Applied Sciences. Vorarlberg, that is one of the 9 federal states of Austria and the most western one. So this area is embedded into the Lake of Constance, so surrounded from Switzerland, from Bavaria, Baden-Württemberg, and Vorarlberg, and of course Liechtenstein. And here I'm doing research within the field of digital transformation, information systems, engineering, innovation, and entrepreneurship. And yeah, I have gained a lot of experience in the past years. So I'm in business since 1999. Started as a logistics manager and finalized part-time my bachelor's and master's degrees at the Vorarlberg University of Applied Science. And since 2011, I'm working in several research projects within the area that I mentioned before. Today, I have separated the discussion into 2 sections. The first section that is about sustainability. In the development of this session, I was thinking about what is sustainability, and it's a kind of meiotic dialogue, so Socratian dialogue, because sustainability has different meanings, has different perspectives, and different perspectives of different people. And maybe we can together elaborate a common definition, or at least discuss what sustainability means. And in the second part, I'm going into the topic of sustainable impacts. And what I would like to do is to lower the altitude of our discussion step by step. First, we will go from a philosophical point of perspective on sustainability. We go into an environmental perspective of sustainability, so working on an ecosystem approach, and then going into an individual perspective on sustainability and impact, especially how we as researchers can contribute and provide impact. Yeah, and what do you need for this session today? That is very easy. You need 3 items. The first, that is a pen. The second one, that is a sheet of paper. And the third one, that is a microphone turned on. The microphone turned on, I would like to have an interactive session, because just discussing with myself, that would not lead us to the results that I would like to gain with you. Yeah, since we are talking about sustainability today, I would like first start with a short or with an estimation. The question that I address to you now, that is, how many animals get slaughtered during our session? To restrict this question a little bit, we are focusing on the US market, and maybe you can now take the pen and the sheet of paper and write down an estimation. At the same time, I will do a kind of a snapshot that we because after the session, we will check how many animals get slaughtered. Here you can see the animal clock provided by the US, and currently it's about 52 billion. Now I'm going back again, and now please make your estimation. I would like to start my discussion today with the tragedy of the commons. I don't know if you ever heard the tragedy of the commons, but it's very helpful for individuals to understand the tragedy of the commons so they can make more sustainable and friendly choices. Erosion of soil. We find it in poetry, for example, in the French poetry, where the forester of Gaëtan cleared a forest because to pay back an interest rate. And also we can find it in German literature, for example, Goethe's Faust, Faust, that is a businessman who sold his soul to the devil to become economic successful. And also we can find the tragedy of the commons in modern economy. But now the question is, what is the tragedy of the commons? The tragedy of the commons is a situation in which individuals acting in their own self-interest behave contrary to the common good of all others by depleting or spoiling it through their collective action. Forster Lloyd, for example, exemplified two herders that make use of a common field. Lloyd observed that because grazing on the commons was free, the herder moved more sheep onto the commons than this land could feed. The land was spoiled, which diminished the value of the fields for everyone. In 1954 and 1968, the term the tragedy of the commons was used for the first time by Scott Gordon. He focused here on the fishers industry and Gareth Harding. And Harding took up the example of Lloyd. And in this theory, they explained the tendency to make decisions based on the personal needs, regardless of the negative impacts it may have on the others. So of the others coming from the past into the present and also in the future. And as an example is, the fish in the sea are seen as valueless to the fishermen because the fisherman cannot be sure, or there is no assurance that the fish will be there for the fisher or for the fishing industry tomorrow if they are left behind today. In some cases, an individual belief that others won't act in the best interest of the group can lead them to justify selfish behavior. Potential overuse of the common pool resource, so that is a hybrid between a public and a private good, can also influence individuals to act with their short-term interest in mind, resulting in the use of an unsustainable product and disregard of the harm it could cause to the environment or the general public. In modern economy, we can find the tragedy of the commons in many and multiple ways. Harding and Lloyd were focusing on a common ground. For example, the herder, each herder had, for example, a certain amount of sheep, and these sheep were grazing on common property. But the common property only were able to feed a certain amount. So if one herder increases the amount of its sheep, then the resources get exploited, and both, not only the deviating herder, but both or all herders have negative impacts. So they are in a kind of a prisoner's dilemma. And this prisoner's dilemma, we can find this prisoner's dilemma almost everywhere in our life, in our economic life, in our environmental life. And here in this slide, I'm focusing on the planetary boundary framework from the Stockholm Resilience Organization. The planetary boundary framework highlights the rising risks from human pressure on 9 critical global processes that regulate the stability and the resilience of the Earth. So I'm starting now at the axis of the climate change. The climate change axis highlights the boundary or the change in the ratio of incoming and outgoing energy of the Earth. More carbon dioxide in the atmosphere and more trapped radiation causes global temperatures to rise. These boundaries transgress and CO2 concentrations are rising. Here you can, in this axis, you can see that this climate change is increasing. So it left the green level and now it's turning to from orange to a right flashlight. Same as the second axis, novel entities, technological developments, for example, synthetic chemicals intervene in evolutionary processes and change the function of the Earth systems. So an example that would be an antibiotica for humans, phosphor in water, or other chemical products that have dramatic consequences to the nature. The third axis, that is the stratospheric ozone depletion. Total ozone is slowly recovering because of the internal phasing out of ozone depleting substances since the late of the 80s. Ozone depletion is therefore currently on a safe operating space. So here, compared to the other axis, you can see that is in the green zone. So there is no critical or no critics inside that. The axis number 5, that is the ocean acidification. Since the start of the industrial era, the ocean increase in acidity, so by 30 to 40%, pushing marine ecosystems beyond safe limits and degrading the ocean's ability to act as earth stabilizers. The ocean acidification boundary has been breached for the first time this year. So you can see here a very light orange color, but it exceeded the borders. The axis number 6, so that is the modification of the geochemical flows. This border is transgressed because the global phosphorus flow into the ocean and the industrial fixation of nitrogen have disrupted global geochemical flows. And you can see here it is dark red. Axis number 7, that is the fresh water change. Human-induced disturbances of both blue water, for example, rivers and lakes, and green water. So the soil moisture have exceeded the planetary borders. Axis number 8, so that is the land system change, the transformation of natural landscapes, including the deforestation and urbanization, disrupts habitats and biodiversity and diminishes ecological functions. Globally, the remaining forest areas in tropical, boreal, and temperate biomass have fallen below the safe levels. And the last axis, so the axis number 9, that is the biosphere integrity. The loss of genetic diversity and decline in the functional integrity of the biosphere are outside the safe levels. So, and they are turning to a very, very dark red light. What I wanted to do here is to give you an overview about the development of these impacts. So from ranging from 2009 to 2015 to 2023 and 2025, the Earth or the framework highlights a strong exceed of the borders. So we are running and running and running out of a kind of a resilience and robustness, and we are exploiting the resources and do a kind of a capitalization. But also a second example that would be the depths of economic systems. On the left-hand side, you can see the depths today or on the 4th September. So I made an inquiry at the Börse.de, so that is the tax exchange homepage, and you can see on the 4th of December at close to 8 o'clock Central Europe time, Germany had debts about 2,913 million, and the USA is about 44 billions. Japan is about 12 billions, and China is about 3 billions. And if we have the same economic system as we are maintaining and preferring now, the debt will increase. For example, the debt in Germany will increase by 53%. In America, it will double. In Japan, it will increase by 17%, and in China, it will be a plus of the debts about 7%. And these examples, they lead me to the discussion. What is sustainability? So here I would like to invite all the participants to unmute and provide their personal perspectives. I'm trying to do a kind of documentation and trying to write into this slide your approaches towards sustainability. What is sustainability? What do you think? What is sustainability?
A big question. Who wants to start? I don't dare to start. So, Päivi, you want to?
Okay, maybe I just throw my first idea. I think it's kind of the balance between the consumption and the available resources, a balance that will not lead into depletion.
Okay, just one moment. Very good answer. I'm trying to document your perspective, but at the moment I cannot see the cursor. Where I am? Here.
We can't see, but it looks very artistic.
Yeah, it looks very artistic. But at least I can. Balance.
What did you say, Päivi? Balance between what?
Like consumption and the available resources. So
Yeah.
in that kind of balance that does not lead into depletion.
Yeah, balance between consumption and resources. Yeah. I will let Florian to concentrate on the writing. Maru has her hand up. Do you want to?
It's about a balance. Exactly.
Yeah.
Dimi,
excuse me, I had another opinion. Maybe the balance, but I think so is when you use the natural element, you need to be reasonable for the use. It's like
rational.
rational. That's right.
That's good.
Yeah, I'm writing down. I'm searching the right rational. Perfect. Other opinions?
Can I talk?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. No, when it comes to climate change and this kind of things, you can have many different forms, but basically sustainability is that you can sustain a process the same way you are doing it without needing to change it, like forever, basically. And if you are not sustainable, there comes an end.
You cannot maintain the process if you are not sustainable. It will end before its time.
Exactly.
Okay, yeah. So it's about continuity as well, and kind of something like
Just
that.
one moment. It's a little bit hard here now. I have such a small screen.
It's looking beautiful. I was stuck with thinking about, because I think when we talk about sustainability, there is one fundamental kind of problem, which is that we separate issues from each other. For example, in the UN Sustainable Development Goals, we have separate goals for environmental, or we talk about environmental or ecological sustainability, then social sustainability, and so forth. But the issue is actually that how we, the social beings, reconnect with the ecological or the environment as well.
Yeah.
And it's about changing behavior and kind of going back to basics, that we remember our place in the ecosystem as well.
Okay. I will just a moment. I can't see this cursor, so it's always a kind of guess where I am. But now I can. So that is the place where we are. That is very good. So I will later come to a slide where we can see where we are placed in history. But anyway, what I would like to do is now, so there are very good buzzwords inside STAT, and I would like to go on and explain a kind of sustainability or threatening the sustainability from the ancient Greece mythology and how we do it like today. So one kind of an explanation of sustainability in the Greek mythology was about the king Erysichthon. Here on the left-hand side of this picture, you can see the king Erysichthon. And Erysichthon wanted to have some furniture for his ballroom. And he decided to clear the oak forest of the god Demeter. He started to do this clearance and made the furnitures, equipped this ballroom with the furnitures, but then Demeter gave him hunger. So this god was never satisfied, and he started to eat all his resources, starting from corn, maize, their cattle, pigs, and so on. And once these resources were eaten, he started to eat his daughters. And once everything was eaten, he started to eat himself. So because he got this unsatisfied hunger from Demeter. And for me, it's a kind of a metaphor that we are facing today. The world overshoots it's coming always closer to the 1st of January. As you can see here on the right-hand side of this slide, for example, Qatar already consumed the available resources in the beginning of February, followed by Luxembourg, Singapore, Mongolia, Estonia, and so on. And here you can find also Austria. Austria already consumed its available resources on the 29th of March. And all these due dates, all these states are moving closer and closer to the January. Also sustainability. Sustainability has been targeted as an overall goal by the United Nations, for example, the Economic and Social Council, and they defined 17 strategic pillars where they would like to increase the sustainability. So the first is, for example, no poverty, zero hunger, good health and well-being. And all these sustainability development goals has been adopted by the European Commission. They clustered them into strategic pillars, and for example, create a new European defense and security correspondent to, for example, the global goal number 9, number 3, number 4. Sorry, I shifted the line to 10, to 11, 16, and 17. So it is about peace. It's about partnerships for the goals, creating new partnerships, about sustainable cities and governments, about industry, innovation, and infrastructure. The question now here is, so I need to, what can innovators and entrepreneurs do? Or what can they contribute to that, to the overall sustainability of economic systems?
It's again a big question, so we have silence for a while, but they definitely can contribute, but we are all part of market economy. So, and the systemic nature of that is quite problematic.
I know
but
today I have a lot of big questions.
yeah,
Really?
Päivi, do you want to?
Yeah, well, at least one possibility is this circular business that they could carry out, practice, so that it's not just about creating new things, but increasing the reuse of existing products and this kind of things.
So I would like to document it. Now I'm searching the cursor.
Yeah, circular economy for sure. That's one way.
Circular economy. Perfect. So circular economy, that is definitely one strategic goal of the European Union, and a lot of funding and a lot of efforts are exemplified in projects. Research projects are going into this field. But what could and innovators and entrepreneurs do else. Or maybe can we lower a little bit the approach?
Reuse raw material, more efficient.
Reuse material.
Yes.
Maru, you have a
Yeah, I saw sometimes the only objective the entrepreneur is the product. It doesn't matter what kind of product they do, but maybe that could be reason to choose some sustainability or some objective around the good product, not only think about the gain. I don't know if I get clear.
Yeah, what I got from you, that is the product, and what comes into my mind, for example, Sarah. Sarah has a kind of a regional sourcing system implemented. So regional sourcing system, that means they are sourcing from suppliers that are close to their headquarters. And Zaragoza, that is located in the northwest of Spain, and a lot of factories around this area supplying Zara with regional products. And as I know, only 1/3 is globally sourced. So they are focusing more on regional sourcing systems. But what else?
Yeah, I think one, of course, there are entrepreneurs. There's product-based companies and entrepreneurs, and also, of course, the service-based ones. But if we talk about products, so I think one big thing is the durability. So how long you can use a product, and I think that's like under discussed thing nowadays. So you just buy a new one when one is broken, and typically quite often it can be even repaired, so that there should be clear introductions how a product can be repaired if it's broken. So I think I think those two things are quite
very good.
important.
Very good.
I agree with Teemu. And like many companies, but all of this that we are talking about now, it's mainly for the entrepreneurs. But anyway, yes, to service things. I mean, and also to not make things not work after some time. Like, for example, with the mobile phones, they stop updating you cannot update it anymore after a couple to 3 years, and you need to change. And this kind of, I don't know how to put it in a phrase, but that kind of thinking in the companies. But I don't know, not look on the profit only.
Extension of...
Yeah, not look for the profit only. That's why I was in the beginning thinking that, like, if we think that we are within a market economy, then what can they really do? Because they should have new business models then as well, and think maybe about business in a new way. Because as long as it's based on this idea that you have to get more and more profit all the time, that leads also the businesses to think, through how to get more money in. So, where there are alternative business models, but, like, I think the change should be more radical. Like, and how to do it then in the context of market economy is a big question. I don't have a solution.
Legislation.
Legislation, of course. Legislation.
Yeah. But innovators can do that, but entrepreneurs, they will lobby against it.
Yeah, but they have to follow it in the end. like the USB-C in Europe.
Yeah.
I have a short story about the durability. Last time I got or I watched a documentary about product innovations, and once Edison innovated the light bulb. The light bulb they never broke. So, and there is already still a light bulb in I think it was in California running, and this light bulb is coming from the 19th century, and it's still running. There is a kind of a durability in this light bulb. And once we buy some light bulb today, they get broke after 3 to 5 years from my experience.
Yeah, and this is the issue that looking for profit as the main kind of driver drives you easily to that kind of thinking that, okay, let's just make them buy more. How we can make consumers consume more by making products that are not so durable.
Yeah.
So this is, I think that, and then I somehow think that there is also that there is really that mindset shift need, that like if only we could kind of also as entrepreneurs and innovators link ourselves always to that ecosystem that we are part of and kind of think through that as well. So of course a lot could be done in terms of like raising awareness and conversations and changing, nudging like different kind of behavior.
Yeah.
But I think that as long as the business models are what they are, this is very tricky. You showed before those debt numbers. Quite interesting to think about this, that what could be done to the business models in order to contribute to sustainability.
Regarding this light bulb, it's a kind of a black humor, but it's funny. The light bulb is still working, and you can watch this light bulb on a web stream, so you can watch it live because it's recorded with some internet cameras, and this light bulb experienced several editions because the cameras broke, but not the light bulb. But it was very good from you, Miller, the mindset, because at the moment what I'm experiencing or what I'm observing or what I recognize, that is we are relying a lot of technology, and I would proceed with this discussion about what should be given greater importance when we are talking about sustainability. Are we focusing more on technology, or are we focusing more on the mindset, so the ethics? What could help us more to increase sustainability so that we can implement the circular economy, so that we can focus on durability, the use of materials, new business models?
Well, if I open the floor again to another easy question, I think, well, technology should be also looked at critically. That what is the contribution of technology to the state of the planet? You showed before the pictures of the planetary boundaries. If you put along, like next to that, for example, statistics of related to, for example, digitalization or any kind of digital technology, will be interesting to see, like how do they correlate to each other. But I think that, well, we know, for example, how much energy AI is consuming, using AI is consuming at the moment. So we are not going towards technologies that are less energy consuming. So I think this technology is quite interesting. Of course, we could do a lot probably with technology that would contribute to sustainability, but I don't know. Do the others know? Is this happening somewhere?
I don't know. It just came to my mind that there's this kind of dual use of data that for instance, the supermarkets, at least in Finland, they're collecting a lot of data from the customers, so they know exactly what I'm buying from the shop. But I think they also provide some information on for instance, the carbon emissions of these things how I'm consuming. So they kind of can also help the consumers to become more sustainable in the way that they buy things. But of course, all the things that Mila mentioned, they are hidden, like how much resources is needed for enabling these calculators that they are running and so on. So it's not just one use, but of course the real meaning of their collecting the data is to make more profit by making, like, tailoring for the customers, some suggestions and that kind of things. But I think there's a lot of potential in technology for creating also the good things. But how to use it, because it's of course the private companies are owning this kind of data. I don't know.
It is a very difficult question because, actually, we can use data for good. Like, for example, you can optimize a building's energy consumption with AI, and in that way, save energy. But as long as we have this, like, economy-based society, or what you call it, that the profit is driving, even if you regulate, for example, we regulate in the EU, we have problems then with other countries. We cannot compete.
Yeah.
So it's not an easy question. It's not. We could say that yes, regulate much and everything will be solved, but it's not the answer either. So,
Maru, you have information for us.
Yeah, I think so. That could be together, because the ethics does maybe the rule, maybe the basement for use some kind of technology, because we can also buy in the entrepreneur with no technology or with no system or modern system. But maybe we need to be that focus what happened with this or what need to do in the basement. In my opinion, that could be the ethics.
Yeah, very good. So I noted down rules to use the technology.
what if there would be a company that benchmarks all the technologies and makes it public to the people how ethical they are, this kind of thing, and then they can choose that yes, I pay a bit more for this product, but it is better for the planet and so on.
Yeah, I keep also thinking that what do we mean by technology? Because like that's also really like I always think that, okay, a book is a technology as well. Nowadays when we talk about technology, we talk about digital technology in many ways, or digitalized technology. But what if with some technologies we went back a little bit and maybe modified it, and then could we get towards more sustainable technologies?
I'm also concerning about AI because the more than you use it, they have to build a lot of very, very big data centers. And these data centers need water. So is it always a good thing that everyone is have to use AI? Maybe we can make some traditional ways also.
So I don't think, sorry.
No, don't go on, please.
Yes. And it's not only the technology. I mean, like, what is it? Food production, animal food. It produces 1/3 of the greenhouse gases, basically. So if everybody would eat a bit less meat, you would be already lowering the effects. So I think everybody needs to look a bit on the mirror, but it's difficult to force everybody to do that. So.
Yeah, I guess if there would be this going back a little bit, so that you would have to actually buy a piece of animal when you go to the grocery store, and not just some very manufactured food products that you don't even recognize, then you would have to do a bit more, taking off the skin and this feathers of the chicken and that kind of thing. So maybe people wouldn't be so eager to consume so much meat.
We are so lazy. We are so lazy nowadays.
Yeah, and so so far distance from this origin of these.
Yes, we need to so processed products.
Yeah, so there also the technology is making it more less visible what we are actually eating and consuming.
Yeah, or otherwise, so we should go many steps forward, so that when we connect people through online media and so on, so then people should see that, okay, how their choices affect everybody and where. So I think now, for example, AI is quite easy to use because it's been trained in somewhere else, and these data centers are somewhere else. But yeah, I think, good discussion.
Yeah, that's very interesting. And the processes are so complex that, we understood them in pieces maybe then. Yeah.
I would like to come into a statement made, I think it was Teemu, by the competition. Because what I'm observing, that is, we have the fear, what do the others? So, and we, of course, can be sure that, for example, other industry or not other nations will do the same what we are thinking about. So if we do not capitalize one resource, then the others will do. And here we are in the incoming statements that are made with the strategy of the commons and the fishermen, because the fishermen can't be sure, there is no assurance that the fish will be there tomorrow, because the logic then will be to exploit the fish today. So they will use it because the others will, if this fisherman is not doing that, the other will do it. Let's say maybe it's the Chinese, maybe it's the Africans, maybe the South Americans, or someone else. There is always a kind of a competition, and what we are facing, that is, we are in a big prisoner's dilemma. And this prisoner's dilemma, that is highlighted by Ostrom, and she's coming to a conclusion that we need some processes, some traditions that helps us to overcome the prisoner's dilemma. And it's an entitled discussion about technology and the ethics. What I would like to do now is to come back to my first question that I addressed, and it was already mentioned by one of the participants about other technologies. So, for example, in farming and what we are eating, the animals. So the question now is, how many animals get slaughtered during our session right now? And
800,000.
800,000. So I have my last figure is coming from,
I think
so
60 billion.
60 billion, and not that much, but in America, the US market are slaughtered 5 million animals just in this 20 minutes that we are discussing right now. And on this watch, you can see the annual US animal death statistics, and you can also see how it increased. So in this time, or since the 1st of January until today, close to 7.5 million pigs were slaughtered, 1,800 gallons of water, and so on. And when we were talking about this technology and the ethics, it raises a next question to me. How many animals die during rearing, are wasted during processing, or are later disposed of as waste? What do you think about that?
%30%.
30%?
Yes, maybe.
That is
40%.
15.
15?
Mhm.
So here on this link, you find a study, and it says that 18 billion of animals die during rearing, are wasted during the processing, or disposed as waste. And in another statistics, I read that 1/3 of all the animals get disposed as waste just to keep the price on the market. And I would like to now switch the topic. We talked a lot about sustainability, and I would like to go now creating impact. So we as researchers, we are doing a lot of research projects, and I think you also have experience in national projects, regional projects, international projects, Interreg projects, EU projects, and so on. Here, that's just to exemplify where I was researching in. So I had a lot of projects within several funding schemes, and I contributed to political, to economic, to social, to technological, to environmental, and legislative topics. But the question is really, what do we need to make, or which skills do we need so that we can make the difference? So the question here is, what, in your opinion, which skills do we need to develop to make an impact towards more sustainability?
Compassion.
Sorry?
Compassion.
Comparison?
Compassion about other people. Think about other people. And about,
comparison.
basically about not comparison, compassion.
Empathy and compassion,
Empathy,
right?
yes.
Yeah.
It's probably not, you cannot teach it that easily, or what?
But it is a skill, empathy, that's interesting because it is something that we can learn. We tend to think that it's kind of a characteristic of person, but actually empathy is a skill. So we can learn. We can spend a day with those animals in their in their living space, and we will feel empathy most likely for those animals. We can step into people's worlds and then grow skill of empathy through that, for example. I think that's a key. And then I was thinking of these analytical and critical thinking skills, but also communication skills, to question, to communicate, and bravely question things as well. It means communication skills. And also communication skills in sense of, because I thought about questioning in the sense that if you are in that many projects, as many researchers are at the same time, that, you know, it compromises quality, then you should question that what kind of impact can this have. But also you should have communication skills to communicate the results and findings of your research to different kinds of audience, for them to understand that, okay, what did you find about sustainability, for example, or impact of your work?
One thing that comes to my mind is this, like this system thinking skills, that you should understand what are the consequences of, you're not just working like in these business models, you're just not manufacturer of some device, but you have to understand how the software works and how you can impact on that so that the whole process would become more sustainable. And I guess there are these can also be skills. There are some ways of analyzing the system and understanding.
Maru, survive for just a moment, I have to open the chat box. Survive for the future in the new generation. Yeah, very good, very good. I need to, which screen can, no, it's a generation, thinking in generations.
And I think that relates to empathy as well. So having empathy also for the future, living creatures, be they people or trees or cows, but, you know, growing empathy for not only those who are now around, but those who are there in the future.
And maybe we should concentrate of teaching that to the children on early life.
Yeah, and I think also business skills are quite important, because when we got a new idea to make the difference, or how to make it profitable, so that actually there's people are ready to get it, so that yeah.
Other opinions, which skills will make the difference. Because then I would like to go into a kind of a model that the Harvard Business School elaborated, and it is about a 9 pillars model. And this 9 pillars model is saying that if we want to be sustainable, we need to teach the future managers or educate them several skills. And once they have it, then they will purpose-driven professionals. And the first, that is the foundational knowledge. So, and they're saying before you can implement sustainable practices at your organization, ensure you have a basic understanding of the environmental science and the climate change. So they are saying, as you said, it is about a systems thinking, it's about ecosystems thinking. It is also about strong leadership. So especially if your organization is currently engaged in sustainable efforts, you need strong leadership skills to enter the field. These include knowing how to delegate the task and empower others to take them on, maintaining team resilience when circumstances changes, communicating organizational changes effectively and remaining authentic and in tune with with your teams. So that is all what we said. It is about communication with teams, with other teams, going beyond the borders and interconnect yourself within a system, within an ecosystem, about business, about the environment, and all the stakeholders that could contribute to the sustainability and the sustainability development of the business. Then also it's about strategic opportunities, means developing your knowledge of sustainable business practices that can enable you to spot opportunities, make impactful changes, positively contribute to sustainability efforts, and improve the organizational results. Forward thinking. So here they are saying go, as we said, into the future to identify the opportunities for change and plan for long-term success, to have strong knowledge about sustainability best practices, which is essential to keep your eye on the horizon as new situation arises. Creative problem solving to find answers and develop creative solutions to new and complex challenges. And calculate and pitch potential values. That means once the potential project ideas have emerged, you need to prove their value to the stakeholders and the decision makers. The basic skills, data skills. So that is also about to have. So before you are diving into sustainability, it includes to collect, to analyze, and report the data, being able to track and analyze the results of the sustainability efforts over the time. And the 8th pillar, so that is about the effective communication of the purpose, which is about a strong sense of purpose, which is essential for commuting to sustainability work. In a business setting, your sense of purpose is only as effective as your ability to communicate to the others. And now I have an exercise for you. I prepared an exercise. The exercise is, so we talked about the sustainability from a very philosophical perspective. We dived into specific questions about the entrepreneurs and innovators. We talked about technology and the ethics. We talked about the impact. And now we are going to the individual level. And the individual level, here I am addressing some questions for you. And now the tools, a pen and a sheet of paper comes to work, because sustainable impact and creating impact as what and for whom. Since we are developing, evolving, the question here is, what do you want to become? So we as researchers, of course, we have two routes. Either we become a professor or we'll go back into industry. So that's the reason why here I noted industry captain. Do you want to become a professor or an industry captain? If you want to become a professor or an industry captain, what do you want to do when you become a professor or an industry captain? And what do you will improve as a professor? And where do you want to be geographically? And how will technology impact you? So the task is now take a pen, take a sheet of paper, and address these questions. I would propose now it's 15 minutes after 2 in Austria, so that we meet in 10 minutes and maybe we can discuss about this question. So the questions are about your individual approach towards how to create sustainable impact. Very good. Do you need more time or shall we start? So it's a little bit earlier, but just a few seconds to 25.
No, I'm ready at least.
Perfect. Good. Yeah, then maybe let's talk. Let's discuss what will you improve when you are a professor? Which impact will you then do? What is your sustainability goal?
If I may start.
Yes, please.
I can tell. Yeah, well, I'm really intending to lower the emissions and also the use of fossil raw materials in fields of construction materials and textile. That's what we are aiming in actually my research group. So
Okay.
yeah.
And where do you want to be geographically located?
Well, in Finland, I think from the textile industry point of view, it may not be the best place, but since we don't have any physical manufacturing anymore here, but I think we have good chances of developing new value chains. And from the raw material point of view, my special area is the dyes and like the colorants, that kind of things. So not just not the textile material itself, but since we are in Finland and there's a lot of forest industry and our typical industries, so we can utilize the side streams coming from those, and that's my idea.
Okay, very good. And what will you do if there is no research funding?
If there's no research funding?
Yeah.
Then one has to go to the to the companies and the entrepreneurs who are trying also, who have similar goals. So you can work together with them, and then you can try to find ways to fund the work, I guess. And of course we can, because of this, of course in EU and so on, the goals are quite similar. So it's quite well aligned with those funding sources. But yeah, but this is a question that we always, of course, deal with.
Yeah. It's always stressing. Others' opinions. Timi.
Which question do you want?
I assume as a researcher you would like to become a professor.
Probably, if it's possible at some point.
Yeah.
Yes.
And what will you improve as a professor? What will you make better? How will you influence the sustainability, contribute to sustainability goals?
Well, I would like to spread my knowledge with the coming generation and maybe create some kind of continuous improvement system so that we see from our mistakes and learn and change and adapt. So.
Good. And geographically, did you think about it geographically?
Yes, but somewhere warm and tropical, but with it's kind of Scandinavian values of life. So it's a bit difficult.
Okay.
So, yeah. The winter here is quite heavy.
Okay, because I would like to wrap up a little bit my history. I started in 1999, and I went directly from high school into a logistics company and worked as a logistics manager, and never thought about to become a researcher. In 2005, I changed the job and I went to a software company that developed software for logistics companies. So here I was employed as a consult and a process designer, and then I started to programming business processes for logistics companies like DHL or Panalpina and so on. Also at this place, I never thought about to become a researcher. And in 2007, I started to study part-time during my job, business administration, and I completed in 2012 with the graduation to a master's. And since then, the corn grew, and the idea emerged to become a researcher, and once you are a researcher, to become a professor. And here the question what addressed me, that is, for example, what or how will the technology impact me, and where I would like to be geographically located. And as highlighted on this slide, so when I started in 1999, we had some IT tools like Microsoft Office, but nothing else. So everything that we did, we made on Microsoft Office. We entered all the shipments into Microsoft Office using Word and Excel and so on, but we didn't have interconnected systems. We didn't have ERP systems. And it emerged step by step, starting in 2001. And in 2005, when I changed to this software company, I became part of this development team. And step by step, there was an emergence of technology, starting from the Microsoft to ERP systems, to advanced ERP systems, to cyber-physical systems, to IoT networks. So everything got connected and more connected. And it's reflected here, for example, in the emergence of Industry 4.0. And now we are talking about Industry 5.0. And the question that is driving me, which competences do I need to develop for me to reach my goal to become a research professor? And what do I need to disseminate to my students so they can do a kind of an evolvement from a student to a business professional? And also the question is, when I want to become a research professor, to act in this field where I am coming from, the digital transformation, information systems engineering, and so on. The job announcements are limited, but we are connected. Of course, we can do everything from our local places because we are digital connected. We can perform sessions online. We can be in the mountains, we can be at the beach, we can be on an island, on a tropical island with Scandinavian manners and so on. But the question is there a job available for me in this area? And that was driving me where I can create impact, how I want to create impact, as what I would like to create impact. The impact, that is also the question, what do I would like to create? And here I'm adopting a framework developed by Krishnarich, and Krishnarich is separating the impact into 6 dimensions. For example, the time dimension. I need to define, or I need to decide what do I want, which impact do I want to create related to time. Is it acceleration or is it realization? Acceleration means I'm living here right now. There is no past, there is no future. Or do I realize that I'm just a small spot in the history and everything I do that could contribute to a future of the next generations? Then also what I need to decide about my thinking and my approach. Is it about the digital distraction or is it about legacy thinking? So am I using fast technology like AI to do my job, or do I really develop theory that endures my business life and my personal life? The focus that is then, which impact do I pursue? Am I focusing on the next election, or do I focus on a more sustainable result? So, and focusing on the next generation or the next generations as a plural. And who will benefit from this impact that I am creating? Is it just a short-term profit? So very similar to the trade and the stock exchange, so making fast business, or do I would like to develop some cathedrals so that endure my professional life and also my individual life? And it also addresses the uncertainty aspect. So coming from or the differentiation between global risks versus holistic scenario planning. do I have only my individual risks in my mind, or do I focus on a kind of a systemic, on ecosystemic approach? And also, what is my focus on the progress of development? Is there an endless growth, or is there a superordinate target? So am I capitalization, or am I focusing on the capitalization of the resources? And or do I focus on the next generations? So I'm at the end of my presentation, and or my presentation discussion. We said it's a discussion, and here I would like to thank you for your very active participation. It makes a success for me, and hopefully for you too. And I would like to say thank you, and I'm open for your question or your discussion.
I would like to say thanks as well. And then I got in my mind that question, that is there a link or something to the previous, the kind of scale on the previous slide? There was that model, like if you have a
This
link
model?
that you can, yeah.
Yes, it's here
Because,
on the right corner.
okay. Yeah,
2024.
if you have the link also for the material, or if you have the material and we can add it to the website, it would be great, because at least I got curious to go through that material and kind of reflect. But thank you very much for this session. It really made me think, at least, that,
That
yeah.
is very good. So that was my intention. It is always difficult to talk about sustainability, because it's a kind of a virtue from my point of view, and a virtue that is the discussion same like what is justice, what is beauty, and so on. So we have a lot of perspectives in it, and yeah, there are different meanings, different opinions, different perspectives, and I think there is not a golden rule, but we elaborated very good approaches that we can pursue in the future, and also disseminate to our students.
Yeah, thank you. It was really nice, very, let's say, very intensive a couple of hours, like very, very good working. I think it just makes you a little bit, exhausted after this, because it was so focused work. So thanks a lot for this. And
yes, thank you very much.
yeah.